Um, it's a great question, especially right now on our planet, actually, because I mean, it's been a great question for a long time, but especially right now, there's a really powerful, awesome thing that's happening on our planet. There is definitely a tipping point of awakening that's occurring. So, what's happening is that there's more light coming into our planet and there's more access to light, higher light. And so, a lot of folks before, I would say I completely understand that because we come from a long timeline of us not knowing how to process our energy. We're not getting an opportunity to, learn about our feelings and our chakras in school. They're not bringing into the educational system. So some of the most important priceless classes are not being not being celebrated and honored to be shared in class. I always say that we need a whole new, paradigm of learning, and I know that's up for an update in our system, one of the systems, which educational systems. And so, meaning that it's understandable that someone might feel that the inner work from the past feels very arduous, could even be considered scary. It might be considered like, how many times have we been told that our pain is our greatest teacher? It's not been shared, and it actually is. It actually is our greatest teacher, and it doesn't have to be forever. As we do our work, layers remove and the cobwebs are removed, and suddenly you're feeling like pain is not a problem. It's literally this discomfort. When we say inner work, sometimes we'll say, well, I don't want to do that because I'm going to have to access possibly something that's really uncomfortable within me. And then we're like, oh my God, I don't want to feel that. Well, again, with the work that's happening right now on our planet, there's so much more divine support. There's so much more light that's being accessed, especially even within, a lot of the healer systems that other friends of mine, my own. It's like there's some sort of quantum transformational opportunity that's happening for people's systems where they can heal so much more rapidly and in a short amount of time. And that understanding of, our feelings, our emotions, the chakra centers, where that used to be kind of almost like shunned as being, what is that? Is that even real? And maybe it's weird to even be thinking this way or feeling this way, or looking into this thing called the chakras. Now you can walk down the street and you'll see a yoga studio, or you'll see a spiritual center, or you'll see another spiritual sanctuary where they're starting to talk about this stuff, and people are starting to explore their feelings. They're starting to feel their emotions, and that of which felt hard and arduous before. There's more of an awakening that's happening, more of a unified state of consciousness, a collective opening that's happening, where when you're doing your work now, you can feel that support. You can feel that kind of deeper internal energy without having to go through these kind of tough doorways of like fighting yourself, like not wanting to feel the pain and not wanting to feel the feelings. That stuff is just temporary. And when we access it, it just comes and it goes. It just needs a temporary moment of attention. And some, I think people think that once they access that, they're going to be overwhelmed by it. They're going to not be able to like get out of it. They're going to, and again, we came from a timeline, our past timeline. We just left the dark ages recently. So, the Kali Yuga, I think, ended in March. So we have been in part of the Middle Ages, the Dark Ages for thousands of years. But our planet has just now shifted tremendously. So if someone was scared before, what we're trying to say, it's so understandable. And there is this new way forward that's happening where people are being able to say, hey, I'm ready to do my inner work. And suddenly there is a facilitator that shows up, or a teacher or a spiritual counselor, or whoever you choose, that's at your door, that is there to truly help you. And you're going to be able to experience probably pretty accelerated growth and learning. And it's just different now. And that's a hard thing to explain to someone who maybe it's just getting going on the path. They'll be like, well, I don't even know the difference of what you're talking about. But what I can tell you is, even a short time ago, our experience with inner healing was not really that known. It was like, I mean, I remember I used to do conscious life expos a while back. I started my first conscious media company, 20 years ago. And I'd go to a conscious expos and they look at me like, what is this? I don't, what are you doing? I'm like, yes, our inner world creates our outer world. Energy is real. They're like, this is really cool, but I don't even know, I mean, I'm talking about just 20 years ago. Maybe it was probably more like 16, 17 years ago, but it was It was very different. And so there is a very different experience happening. So when we're accessing that inner my son and the puppy we just got, when we are accessing our inner work now, yeah, there's this really new divine support that's available. So it's understandable that it felt scary before, but there is a really good thing happening right now to do our inner work. It's very supportive now.
Yeah.